Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to discuss a book that I read recently called The Death of Money. And its subtitle there is The Coming Collapse of the International Monetary System. And it was written by James Rickards. And it's a pretty interesting read. So that's what that looks like. The Death of Money. And this person was significantly relevant because after 9/11, there were some suggestions around looking at how people sold stocks from insider trading standpoint that were predicting or knew of the tax that came to America from from the planes being flown into the buildings, etc. So what they did was they looked at the history of or the way American Airlines stock was performing, and they did actually see a sell-off beforehand where someone protected their money because they knew what was about to happen. So what's curious about that is it actually had some suggestions on who was involved and who the players were, and that you could, from a forensic accounting standpoint, see that, which is interesting to me. That was an interesting concept to me around that. So basically, it tells on yourself. And they went through different case studies, like Martha Stewart's one. 2001, Martha Stewart was one of the richest women in the world due to the success of her publishing and media ventures related to cooking and home decor. That year, she sold stock at Clone Systems based on a tip from her broker and avoided a loss of about $45,000. That sum was a pittance based on her fortune. In 2004, however, she was convicted of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and making false statements in connection with this trade, and was sent to prison. That's why it's always funny when she's with Snoop Dogg and they say there's one felon on the stage and it's her, it's not him. That's why that's so funny. But going through that, they found this the same way they found the insider trading when they talk about 9/11. The expectation is that in the future, we should be able to predict things that are going to happen based on what insider trading looks like. And they did, actually. They predicted the London attack by seeing insider trading that happened in London. They were unaware of where it was going to happen, but it was true to the day of the prediction. So that's one of the things I thought was pretty interesting in the book. One of the things that it says, though, is it dismissed some things which were untrue. So it talks about the 9/11 report a little bit. And guys, it's real simple. That report is false. The claims that are made in that report is false. And you can't if any other court, if anyone else went to court and answered questions with questions like they did in that report, and any other person answered questions like they did there, where it was differently at each point of inquest, the story changed each time, they would have been found guilty for several different reasons around that. One of the thoughts of the book, though, it talks about the risk of America and other countries going away from the dollar and going to digital funds, etc. Basically saying that insider trading and things will be done at an extremely jiggy pace because there's no way to predict it. There's no way to follow the money, basically, because digital money can be washed through multiple different entities before it's actually documented down to the final user. So I thought this was pretty good. It talks about a little bit about monetary policy, debt deficits in the dollar, and how we should look at doing things moving forward around the meaning of money, which is pretty interesting. It's a bit long-winded for me, got to be honest with you, but overall, it was a pretty interesting read. So here's one of the things that John Hathaway had to say about the book. I think it's a pretty good quote. The Death of Money contains a very big, proactive ideas, clearly expanded and delivered in an even-handed tone that steers away from the sensational proclamation, yet successfully undercuts conventional market wisdom. Rickards' insight enables him to connect the dots in a way that very few others can, a worthy successor to his book, Currency Wars. What I'd say about this is it's worth the read just so you can see how our government agencies respond to things like this. They look back at 1914, 39 to 71. They go back to each stock market collapse and see if there were predictors before each collapse, and there were in each. Not saying that they were purposely done, but suggesting that someone had prior knowledge to each one of those situations. I think it's kind of interesting how that detail comes out in the book. But yeah, maybe take a look at this if you're interested in markets and finance in general. I think it should be studied by anybody that's studying finance so they can understand trends and markets and how they're manipulated. Frankly, we've done videos in the past where it says if you keep money in the American stock market for 20 years, you will make money 100% of the time, right? The Psychology of Money is a good book to read around further understanding there. I would suggest this title as one to look into if you're interested in how that adds up. The Death of Money by James Rickards. I'm Ben. If you like subject matter like this and subjects such as these, please subscribe to the channel. Please like and take a look at our future content. Be good.